Hello friends, today we'll be replacing the drive belt, also sometimes called the serpentine belt or the accessory belt, on my 6th generation, that's 2012 to 2025 model year Mitsubishi Mirage. Looking at this diagram of the engine, we can see how the belt is routed. The bottom right pulley is the air conditioner, which I don't personally have. To the left of that, the big pulley is the crank pulley, which the engine spins. And the upper right of the crank pulley is the water pump pulley. And the very top pulley is the alternator. The alternator, as you'll see later in the video, pivots to tension the belts. There is no automatic or spring-loaded belt tensioner in this vehicle. Here are the official instructions for removing the drive belt. Should note that if you intend on reusing the drive belt, you should mark on the belt which way it is installed so you can reinstall it in the same direction. So to remove the drive belt, we're going to loosen the pivot bolt, which is below the alternator. Then we're going to loosen the fixing nut, and then we're going to back off the adjusting bolt until the drive belt is relieved of tension and we're able to remove it. Before we do anything, I'm going to spray the generator fixing nut, the adjusting bolt, and the pivot nut below the alternator with some WD-40 and let it sit for a few minutes. So this is the adjusting bolt that's used to tension the belt. This is the fixing nut, and then below is the generator pivot bolt. The pivot bolt and the fixing nut need to be loosened before the adjusting bolt can be turned. The lower alternator pivot bolt has a very cool feature. The bolt head is a square end that locks into the alternator. So you can see right here in the bottom middle of the frame there's this bolt head. It's square, it locks into the alternator. So you can loosen and tighten this nut without having to worry about the bolt head spinning.
Okay, I gotta go counterclockwise. I believe this is either the air conditioning compressor or the fog light. This car doesn't have either option. I think it's the AC.
I had a very hard time getting the bolt to turn because this is a breaker bar, and when the socket meshed with the nut, the breaker bar wouldn't be in a position to give me any room to rotate. So I ended up rotating the socket on the breaker bar a couple of times till I got it to work. Overall, I probably gave this thing like 3 rotations. I maybe turned it like a quarter turn overall.
Crazy, I can see the bolt so clearly. Oh, okay, right here.
There you go.
Yeah. Hopefully that's enough. See it?
For reference, that connector I showed earlier is in fact for the AC line. This is a photo from a different Mirage. With the AC line in place, loosening that lower alternator bolt becomes much more difficult. You might need to use a small ratchet and a much shorter socket.
I'll take the 12mm right here. Maybe I want to use a bigger wrench for this. Go. Here, right there. It's free now. Now we just need to back it out. That's very well. Yeah, I think so.
The alternator wasn't rotating easily, so I just pushed the bolt head with the breaker bar. It's possible loosening the pivot bolt some more would have helped. You will not need to remove the adjusting bolt to get the belt off. It just needs to be loosened almost all the way. The alternator is kind of stuck here, so I decided to loosen the lower pivot bolt some more.
Oh yeah, sleigh. There we go. It's the old belt. You can see very minor cracking on it. Otherwise, yeah, it looks very good. You can see the stitches where the two halves are put together. If I flip the belt inside out, see the belt is in like perfect condition. It's lifetime of air conditioning. Belt never goes bad. Yeah. Quickly compare sizes, old belt, new belt. It's the new belt. I got this 6PK 906. 906 is the length in millimeters. You can see right here the new belt ends up being pretty much exactly the same. The belt might even be a little bit longer. Right. So I just gotta snake this over the crank pulley. Water pump is a smooth pulley. Might need to pop under the vehicle. We'll see. I'll take it off the alternator. Answer it correctly. Oh, I can't rotate the crank. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think it's on. So on this pulley it's centered. You can see the ridges. The only other pulley is the crank pulley way down here. You can see it's centered.
For reference, here's the way the belt routes over the pulleys. The water pump pulley is the only smooth pulley, so you know the back of the belt is going to rub against the water pump pulley. The other three pulleys are notched pulleys. Now we're going to tighten the adjusting bolt until there is some tension on the belt, and we're going to recheck the alignment of the belt on the pulleys before we begin properly tensioning the belts.
The alternator one's easy. There's these two ridges. You can see it's between. It's a rib belt. Crank one, you probably need the flashlight for. You can see. Yeah, you can see it's between these two ridges. Yeah.
The factory service manual mentions 3 separate ways of measuring belt tension: the frequency when the belt is strong, the tension in pounds, and the deflection in millimeters. Here are the official instructions for measuring belt tension. Note that it says this should be done when the engine is cold, as the engine can contract slightly when cool. It also says that you should turn the crankshaft clockwise 1 turn before checking belt tension, which I've never done before and I don't think would be easy to do. Here are the instructions for using the frequency measurement device. Here's the part number for the frequency measurement device. The only problem is I can't afford the device. Here are the belt tension and deflection measurement instructions. Interestingly, to measure tension, it says that you need to remove the oil dipstick guide assembly, which doesn't sound like fun. Here's a recommendation from the factory service manual on belt tension adjustment.
Yeah, so we're going to measure the belt tension together. So right here, you can try and get the camera in that way. I'm going to measure deflection of the belt. It says 8 millimeters. I feel like it's good.
We're now going to torque the alternator bolts back to spec.
Yeah, the end caps loosens for 35. Really, 35. End cap tightens. Hopefully this fits. I like to do this trick where instead of lining up the hole with the ball, I intentionally put it off so the socket will come off easier. Good life hack.
Never thought of it.
The other way. Yeah. Clearance is a big problem here. Clearance is going to be a big problem. Yeah. At least it's a ratchet, so it's a little bit easier. Yeah. Adjust this down to 17. It's 10, 7, 17. Socket. Here. Yeah.
The instructions say to tighten the adjusting bolt last, but instead of trying to torque it to this specification, we're instead going to measure the belt tension again and see if it needs to be tightened.
Yeah. You can check. Okay, zoom in. Check our it's on the pulley. The water pump doesn't matter because the water pump's smooth. It's the back of the belt. And then show you it's on the crank. Yo, grab the flashlight maybe. Yeah. You can see it's on the crank correctly. And I will show you the deflection. You'll try and shove the camera that way, I guess, so you can see the deflection. Like this, I think. Yeah. You can see the deflection of the belt. It's quite decent. Here's the sound. Seems okay. Yeah. Now I will turn it on, I guess. We're in park.
That concludes the video. Remember that this vehicle does not have an automatic belt tensioner. It must be manually tensioned as shown in the video. Also note that a new belt is more likely to become loose because the new belt comes with creases in it as it's shipped folded up. Here's the Canadian service schedule, item number 7, drive belt. There is no power steering oil pump in the vehicle. Solely for reference, here's an alternator diagram. Thank you for watching. Please leave any questions, comments, or feedback down below.